time management is more about having that focus. If you're busy, does not mean that you're actually managing time effectively. Right? You need to have that priority set. In Mahabharata, if you see, when Arjun went for the Divyastra, Lord Krishna told him that you have to start planning for the Divyastra 10 years before the war is actually going to happen. The Crazy Careers is gaining love from audience across India and abroad. If you are enjoying our episodes, don't forget to subscribe, share, and spread the word because that's how we stay motivated. In this episode, we dive into the truth of art and science about time management with Mr. Harish Rijhwani, who is an author, corporate professional, and educator. Discover practical strategies to stop feeling overwhelmed and start owning your day. Hello, sir. I welcome you to the Crazy Careers podcast. Thank you so much for joining us in today. Thank you so much for inviting me, ma'am. So, before we get into the actual conversation, would you mind letting us know a bit about yourself, the work that you do, and also your journey in general so far? So, I'm a healthcare IT professional. I've been in the healthcare IT space for more than 22 years now. Along with that, I also teach as a visiting faculty in various management institutes, teach healthcare students specifically around healthcare IT, analytics, data science, or even health informatics. Along with that, I've also self-published 6 books. 3 of them are novels and 3 of them are non-fiction books. That's just in terms of my overall journey. It's been a long journey overall. So kind of I've tried to focus on different areas for that matter, right? If I look at it from IT, then I move to teaching. I also have 6 different courses on Udemy of my own. So yeah, so I've ventured into teaching as well in that sense. So, would you mind giving us a glimpse about the books that you have written? So I started off writing specifically on healthcare IT because when I first published my book on healthcare IT in 2019, I had already taught that subject for 7 years. So I just converted that experience into a written document. And then from that, I converted that written document into a Udemy course. Right? And that Right. Udemy course actually has more than 2,000 students across 80 plus countries. Right. So after I wrote my first book, then I thought of writing another book, which was specifically around the space of marketing. So it's called Technology to Business. And that was something I was taught in my MBA college. So I just converted that journal, which I had written, into a small non-fiction book. And Right. then I thought of writing around data science because I was very intrigued about that and I had some experience around that. So I wrote about data science, but I wrote it in a very different manner. I wrote it in terms of writing stories, explaining it in terms of stories. For example, if I just tell you, right, what is a neural network? But in general, if I look at a neural network, you're doing that every day in your life. Like, for example, if you look at cooking, you're cooking something once and you don't find that, okay, the outcome is as you expected. Then you'll again go back, change something, and then again try. You keep on trying till you get that outcome, right? So that itself is a neural network. So I explain it using stories. And then I ventured into creative writing and I published 3 novels around 95 cubicle days. Right. So you have simplified something which is very technical in terms because if I speak about neural network, they might think it's a very technical topic, but once they go through your book, maybe they will be able to understand it in a simplified form. Also, you have written a lot of articles and books on time management, if I'm not wrong. I've written few articles, but yes, I do understand in terms of time management to that perspective. Right. So, I would like to know from you what is the biggest myth that people believe about time management? See, time management is more about having that focus. If you're busy, does not mean that you're actually managing time effectively, right? So, in the sense, if I look at any sports or even cricket for that matter, right? If you're going to just play cricket, you're just playing it for the fun. But if you really want to learn something, if you want to improve something, you'll play a specific shot again and again. If you're going to try that for a longer amount of time, you'll try and focus on that and improve on that. So that is what is time management. You have to have an outcome in your mind. This is what you want to achieve in a certain amount of time. That itself is time management and not really just keeping yourself busy in terms of whatever comes your way. Right, absolutely. So you wear multiple hats. You are working in the healthcare IT sector, and also you have written books, and you also run your courses on Udemy. So I just want to know, like, if how can someone go from the feeling of that overwhelmed with their work to like controlling their entire day? how they can shift that feeling? It's more about trying to be more organized. And from my perspective, right, I try and split my day and my year in a certain manner. For example, in the first 6 months of the year, I try and focus on recording my courses. In the next 6 months of the year, I focus on my writing. That's how I split it. And in terms of the day also, right, I write after 10 p.m. or whenever I get time on the weekends. But I do have a goal in mind that, okay, in these 3-4 months, I want to publish this particular course or I want to publish a certain book. Okay? Right. And just to give an example, very similar example from sports, I'm not sure if you've seen Formula One. And in Formula One, there was a driver, Kimi Raikkonen, in 2005. So he used to start from the podium, or rather, he used to start from the pit lane many a times. There were many examples. He started from the pit lane, but he finished on the podium. So how do you really manage through that? You see 19 cars in front of you and you still reach in front. So that's specifically, decluttering your mind in terms of what you see ahead of you and how do you focus that, okay, you want to reach that particular goal. So that's how you structure that and you try to structure that. It's not that, okay, yeah, I've said that I want to do this, but you have to put that into practice. Right. So it's basically like setting up the goal first and then prioritizing it. So if you have multiple goals, you prioritize. Yes. You need to have that priority set. Even if you might have 10 tasks, it's practically not possible for you to do 10 tasks together. You will be doing one task at a time. So you have to focus on that one task, complete that, then move to the other based on your priority. Right. So is time management more about mindset or it is about following certain kind of methods? It's both. Practically speaking, it's both, right? In terms of the method has to be there, but if your mindset is not there, it will not work. Like I said, right? If I have set my goal that, okay, I want to publish this particular course in the next 3 months. So I don't say that, okay, every day I might do small things in terms of achieving that particular goal. And in the end, after 3 months, when I'm close to completing it, yeah, okay, I've completed that. And then I forget that and move to the other. In the same way, in terms of sports, also, when you look at cricket, right, the method is there that when you're bowling an over, between overs, you have to start the next over within 60 seconds. That is the requirement. But how do you enforce that requirement? Now there are regulations that if you don't complete that or rather start that over in 60 seconds, there will be a fire and penalty. The same way in tennis also. You have to serve the you have to start serving in 25 seconds, and in Grand Slam you have to serve it in 20 seconds. So practically speaking, right, the goal is there, the mindset has to be there. In your how do you enforce that mindset is these rules and regulations that you have to put on yourself if you really want to manage yourself. Right, that's true. So what's that one habit that can instantly improve how we manage our time? You have to plan. You have to try and plan. Like I said, right? I have a goal in my mind that, okay, I want to do something. I want to achieve this in the next 3 months. You could also have a simple goal that, okay, I want to complete this recording. Like you yourself might have that goal, right? Okay, I want to complete 3 recordings in a day. And you will start planning that not yesterday, right? You will start planning it 2 weeks in advance or 3 weeks in advance. In that same way, if a company themselves set a goal that, okay, we want to reach a specific revenue target or a specific goal in that mind, they start planning 5 years in advance. And even in Mahabharata, if you see, when Arjun went for the Divyastra, he, Lord Krishna told him that you have to start finding the Divyastra, you have to start planning for the Divyastra 10 years before the war is actually going to happen. So in that mind, you have to start planning in terms of what you want to achieve. That is how, if you change that mindset and if you have that plan in mind, you can definitely move forward. Right. I'm sure there will be some days in your life when your to-do list feels like it's endless. So what is your go-to strategy for that? Sometimes, when it's a very simple example. When you go to a restaurant, and if it's a very famous restaurant, you can see even on the nearby stall which you have people like vada pav, right? If you go to that sandwich wala or the vada pav wala, you'll find 20 people clustering over there. From your point of view, when you think of it, only you want that, okay, for you, it's like, okay, my time is getting wasted. Give me that vada pav fast or give me that sandwich very fast. But think of it from the other person's time. The other person, he has 20 people standing around him, and everybody is saying, give me this vada pav, give me this, give me that. So how do you really declutter that is the important aspect, right? And if you go to a restaurant now, the way they do it now, they structure it. The person who comes, they tell them, tell me your name, how many people are there. So they write that. The second person comes after that, then in an order, specific order, you write that. And if there is a seating available for 2 people, they'll give 2 people even if they are down in the line, right? Because they do not have a lot of
requirements in terms of seats. So in the same way, from a personal perspective, if you have 20 things to do, you have to prioritize what you want to achieve first. What is the priority? You can't just start, okay, this is the first thing that came in your mind, but you have to prioritize the outcome and then it will help you plan that better.
Right. So nowadays we often hear whenever we go to our friends or colleagues or anyone, everybody says that I am busy. So what is the basic difference of being busy and being productive?
Being busy could just be binge watching a television show, right? So you can say that, but ultimately, if that is also relaxing time, you want to watch a movie or anything that is relaxing. But again, unless you don't have that goal, if you want to achieve a specific goal, that's where your time management comes into picture, right? If you're not moving or inching towards that goal, being busy might not help you achieve that. You have to know how to cut off from a certain phrase, right? Rather from a certain time frame, and then move to the other. That is how you'll distinguish between being productive versus just being purely busy, right? Being busy might not give you that productivity. Right. So there are few recent conversation and recent news about 19 hours a week, 19 hours work and 12 hours work, 13 hours work, so on. So what is your basic insights on that? Like, what should be the ideal time of work? I don't think it's about ideal time of work. If you're able to complete your work, nobody's going to question you. Logically speaking, right? If you're given a task for that particular day, if you complete your work, that's it, right? Unless there is some other task which is provided to you. That's how you have to supposed to think, right? Otherwise, you'll never have that work-life balance, practically speaking. I mean, I cannot comment on anybody else's thought process or view, but from my personal standpoint, it's more in terms of how quickly can you achieve that task that has been assigned to you. Because even in the IT space, right, you have 2 week sprints. You have to complete a task within 2 weeks. If you don't complete the task in 2 weeks, you'll get a spillover. How do you manage that in 2 weeks? That's up to you. Yeah, that's true. And related to that question, I have the next question. Like, can time management, mastering the time management actually reduce strain, stress, and burnout? Definitely it can, but it's easier Yes. said than done. Yeah, because your mind keeps on thinking so many things, keeps on running after so many things, right? You have to control that mind also. You might be able to manage time. Along with that, you also have to manage the mindset. Otherwise, it'll be the same thing that, okay, I've completed this. What do I do next? That is something you should always keep in mind. That how do you move ahead? The way I think is if I've completed one thing, I let that go and focus on the next. Yeah. Yes. That's definitely true because in shooting, shooting as a sport I'm talking about. So when we are focusing on our target, so that is a technique like you need to get distracted before going for the next shot. So similarly, it is applicable for all our work. Like if a project is done, then you have to have a little bit of distractions and then refocus it. So refocusing is very much important. When we keep on focusing and focusing, obviously that will lead to the burnout situation. Yeah, even in yoga, right? When you practice a lot of asanas, between each asana, they give you a space of like 5 to 10 seconds, so that you can relax and then go for the other asana rather than just continuously doing that, right? Right. It's true. So, sir, what's next? Are you working on some books, some projects? What is next? I'm working on a Udemy course as of now. I'm hopeful that I'll be able to complete that in this month, and then I'll focus on writing something. Right. How do people will find out on Udemy? So people on Udemy, they search for healthcare IT, and my course actually comes up at the top in one of the top five, right? It comes up on that. I haven't done any active advertisement or anything. I give my courses to my students just like that. I give them so that they are able to learn, and in terms of through my teaching, right? And it's more in terms of the course itself. I did not expect that I would have possibly so many students, especially in Udemy. Right? It's more like in a way that course is something people are looking for. So if your target is correct, it will automatically, everybody start looking for it. Yes. All right, sir. It was really an insightful conversation, and we had a beautiful conversation on how to manage time and what is the art and science of time management. We all think like, oh, it's a very difficult task to manage our time, but it's all simple steps and small steps that we have to take in our daily life that we have learned from you today. And thank you so much for allowing us to do this podcast and giving us time from your busy schedule. Thank you so much, ma'am. It was nice talking to you.